Hey, Delaware. We are back with another episode of That Delaware Podcast. You are with the Rosario Team, and we're excited to hop into some new things. Ladies, what did you get into this weekend?
It was a pretty low-key weekend over here. We had a Chuck E. Cheese birthday party, so that kind of took up Saturday, and then we recovered for the rest of the day. And then Sunday, actually, I took the kids to the Delaware Museum of Science, which is one of my favorite places.
Where is that?
It's in Greenville.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. They redid it recently. And it's funny because I was looking at my Facebook memories, and I saw I had taken my daughter, like during COVID, it was like 2021. My son was a newborn. And I had taken her just to see like the animal sculptures outside, and I had some like cute pictures that showed up, and so we recreated some of those pictures. It was really cute. Yeah. So we had a nice little afternoon. It made us feel like we did something. Mm-hmm. I don't do the cold. I won't be outside in the foreseeable future. So
Couple months.
what about you guys?
Not a fan of the cold. I saw those pictures, by the way. They were so cute. I was like, look at little JoJo.
She was a trooper. I was like, just raise your arm a little bit. Oh, perfect. And she loved to see it.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Anyone else do anything fun?
I went to the movies. The new Den of Thieves 2 came out, so I went to go see that. Penn Cinema at the Riverfront. Other than that, just like you said, it's cold. I don't want to be out if I don't need to be. So
I heard that movie theater is closing. It's really nice. It sucks. Yeah, they're going to build apartments there. But I need to find some good local movie theaters.
I honestly forgot about that movie theater. So.
Yeah.
that's why.
That's why it's closing. So there you go.
In other local business news, we have an exciting development in the local Wilmington food scene. Did you guys hear who's moving right across the street from our office?
Oh, yes, I did. And I'm so excited.
Our favorite pizza spot.
Nick's. I don't know if the audience has tried Nick's Pizza.
Love Nick's.
Friend of the podcast,
Yeah.
I'll say.
He's our bud.
Yeah.
We go way back to the cozy corner. We actually, I'm like staring at his old menu on our fridge from when you used to have to call it in. Like, actually, I think it was like a day in advance. But here I am texting Nick like last minute, like, hey, is there any way we can stop by and grab a pizza? And he's so awesome. So, of course, he's like, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm super, super excited because it's literally going to be in our backyard. And Kristen can get that. Well, actually, we all can get that buffalo.
Oh, yeah, the buffalo
steak.
Oh, so good.
Oh,
I just
my
love the tomato
God.
pie. Yeah, so I've never been to his Newport Pike location that was opened like a year ago.
Yeah.
Because I'm never in that area. But anytime I've had Nick's, it's been like picking it up at Cozy Corner, or if he's been at like Wilmington Brew Works, he's done a few pop-ups. But yeah, and did you see the theme of the restaurant?
Yeah.
I love it.
I was going to say, yeah. So I went to, like a few times, went to the place that he's moving from. And it's smaller, and, you just walk it. It's kind of like just for like pickup. So I love like the whole like new vibe, the theme. It's actually going to be like sit down. They have
It's going to be like nostalgia, like
retro.
an homage to like the pizza parlors of the 70s and 80s, I think is what he said.
I love that.
We're big on nostalgia here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love
Exciting.
that. I'm so excited.
So if you ever come visit the Rosario Team office, you'll be right across the street from Nick's.
Right. I'm going to be like, every appointment is going to be at Nick's Pizza. Like, meet me at Nick's Pizza. Okay. You want to talk about real estate? Meet me at Nick's Pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah.
I can't wait. So, something else we wanted to talk about today was sharing some funny stories that we have from our real estate ventures. And it can get interesting out there in the streets. In the streets and the houses.
Like funny and embarrassing.
Funny,
you wanna take it.
embarrassing. Yeah, wherever we want to take
When
it.
I think funny, I automatically think embarrassing because I've had some embarrassing.
Same.
Sure.
I mean, I was just thinking about this recently because I'm having trouble with my phone. I need to get a new phone. But when I first got licensed and first started working with clients, I don't know if people know the way that you get into listings to do tours. There's either a lockbox, like a standard lockbox with a code that you get from the listing agent, or something called Sentry Lock, where it's connected to an app on your phone that we pay for. and it's connected to the MLS. And when you get there, you use Bluetooth and internet to open the lockbox. And I had a phone when I first started that just worked when it wanted to, and it never wanted to work when I had a tour. So I had a new client who was an investor who would always be like in certain zip codes in the city of Wilmington that just didn't have great like 5G service. And there was like 3 days in a row that we went out on tours, and I could not get into half of the listings, and I would have to like be on the phone. I'm like getting sweaty thinking about it.
I'm getting anxiety as you talk about it. I'm like, oh my gosh.
And I really wanted to impress this client because I knew that like this could be like more business. They were looking to pick up a little portfolio, and thankfully they stuck it out with me, and I did get a new phone. I just needed to close a deal to be able to buy it. But yeah, so I got a new phone, and then my Bluetooth worked, but I got them 2 properties, but I was very thankful that they stuck with me. But my funny stories were like, it was like 8 p.m. in like January, huddled on the ground, trying to get my phone to like connect to the Bluetooth to open this lockbox.
That's the worst.
But
did you ever, so when you're opening those, do you have like the security set up where you're like, you have to like click the agent safety?
this was before I knew about safety precautions in real estate.
So when we originally switched over to Sentry, I had like the agent safety on. I still have it on. But I didn't realize you needed to click it to like turn it off. That like, okay, you're safe. Like, don't call like the emergency contact. So like, I'm showing this property to my clients. We go in and my phone starts blowing up, and my sister's calling me, Kristen's calling me, Chris is calling me, and everybody's like, are you okay? Are you okay? And like the people that like I didn't answer the phone for, like, answer your phone. Like, are you okay? I just got a message about some safety.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm okay. I did it a few more times after that. You know, I did not learn from the first time. But yeah, that was hilarious. And speaking of hilarious, just recently I was showing a property and I got jacked up. I mean, literally hurt myself.
I remember seeing that on your story. I felt so bad.
I did. So they were out-of-state clients, and I'm doing like a Zoom like video chat with them. And, you know, we walk around, oh, here's this, here's that. And I go to walk out the back door, and it's like literally like 3 steps down, like just little wood steps. And I'm like, so here's the backyard. And all I know is I was sledding down the steps, and my phone flew in the air, and I'm like trying to like get my composure. I'm like, oh my God, what just happened? My ankle's all twisted. I'm like, oh my gosh, and all I hear is my clients.
And you were on video chat.
I'm on video chat. So like I hear my clients still like talking, and I'm like, hold on, I fell.
Oh my God.
And they're like, Amber? Like they're like looking at the sky.
Do you have this video?
I was saying, like, I'm gonna record all future video tours from now on because it would have been gold on the internet.
I got pretty hurt from this too.
I got pretty hurt. Like you could tell there was 3 steps because I had bruises, boom, 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 on my forearm. Wow. That were pretty bad. A whole scrape. Actually, I called you and you were not there to help me. Thank you very much.
It was a tour in my neighborhood.
I was in Little Italy and I called Caitlin because I was like, I don't know where my first aid kit is right now. I just want to like clean up my arm, and she didn't answer.
I'm so sorry. I muted you because I was putting my sick son down for a nap, but
it's okay. But then I went to Rocco's on Union Street after that. I was like, I'm going to post up here. I'm going to the bathroom and like clean myself up. And I grabbed some Italian wedding soup, and my favorite salad is there. It's a portobello salad. I'm going sideways with this. But oh my God. Anyway, see, everything's always working out for me.
Funny stories and hot food tips from
exactly.
the city of Wilmington.
You know, never sulk on, you know, the negative stuff because it's going to turn out positive in the end.
Yeah.
And it turns into a great story.
It was a great story. I showed my clients the bruise afterwards, and they were like, oh my gosh. I'm like, it's pretty bad.
The things we do for our clients.
Yeah.
What about you, Amanda? You got something funny happen?
So for me, every time I do showings or open houses, whatever it is, If I find a mirror in the house, I'm taking a picture.
I mean, you gotta.
Same.
Call me vain, I don't know. But for some reason, it's almost every time I meet with a new buyer, they always kind of catch me while I'm taking a photo.
That's embarrassing.
Like, yeah. And then I'm like, do you guys want to take a picture?
Unless, it depends on who you're with. You're like,
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Also,
you're not going to stop.
No, it's just,
Continue on.
that's my thing. Like if I see a mirror, I just have to take a picture.
Have you guys ever set an alarm off?
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully.
I've not. Oh, God. I would talk about anxiety attack.
One of my first ever open houses. I'm assuming you've set alarms off, Chris.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah. My first ever open house. I forgot about this. Not my first, one of my first ones. It was in the neighborhood where I lived, and I ended up having to call someone to help. But it was the only open house I did where I didn't have a lender with me. And this is a lesson to me to always have someone with me. But I could not turn the alarm off.
Did the police show up?
No, I ended up calling the listing agent. The listing agent walked me through. But there were already people coming through the house, and I'm sure it did not leave a good impression on. But
They're like, are you sure you're the agent?
it was a great house, though. The house sold itself. I'm sure that the alarm didn't really affect people, but I was so paranoid.
Speaking of like alarms and things like that, I almost broke an entry. So I was showing a property to one of my clients in Middletown, and they did not have a lockbox on the property. It was like, just, go in, they're going to leave the door unlocked. And I knew what property it was. Like, we had scheduled a showing, but my client's email, he kept like referencing a different number of the same street, but like I knew what he was talking about. But in my mind, when I went to put it in the GPS, I put that number in the GPS. So we pulled up at that property, and they're 55 plus. They're all like similar looking. So we walk up, and I'm like trying to get in, and I'm like, they said the door would be open, and it's not. And they're like walking around the house, and I'm like trying to get in the door. And I just like, I'm like trying to get in the door, and they were like, I think we're at the wrong house.
Oh my! I've done that.
And I was like, oh my gosh, we are. And there's a Ring camera right there. And I was like, hi, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. My mistake. We're at the wrong house. I apologize. So sorry.
I honestly feel like, are you even in real estate if you haven't gone to the wrong house? I've gone, and I haven't like tried to get into the door.
Actually break
like
it.
when if they don't have the sign in the yard, and I'm just like
No
not
sign.
thinking.
Yeah.
And I'm walking around looking, and it's early morning showing on a Sunday, and I'm walking through their yard looking for this lockbox. Thankfully, we figured it out before we went around back, because the next place you look is like the back door.
Yeah.
I've got to step up my game. I've never done a B&E. I've never done a break and enter. I got to.
It's extra embarrassing
Gotta
because your
expand my
clients are
horizon.
right there watching.
It's
you.
embarrassing for your clients. And honestly, this was the first time that I met them in person. But they were so cool. They're
Wow,
like,
this house photographed really differently.
right. They changed everything about this house. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's.
Have you ever walked in to a room where people were not expecting you to show the house?
Oh, yeah.
This happens with tenant occupied houses.
The same clients that I kept getting locked out of houses because my phone wasn't working. There were a bunch of properties that we showed where it was like a renter who was not given warning about showings, and I definitely like walked in on a guy like napping on the couch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like honestly, if I'm showing a house and the bedroom door is shut, I would not open that door without knocking, because you just never know who's home. And
Yeah, sometimes I will, when I walk in, if I know that like it's occupied, I'll like give a yell.
Oh, me too.
Hello. I did have one time I was showing a property. It was to one of my best friends and her ex now. And we're like, I mean, it was like a big, nice like ranch home. So we're like walking around. We were upstairs for a long time, and then we head downstairs, and it's a dark basement. It's finished, but it's a dark basement. And we go down there, and this girl's like curled up in the corner of the couch, like just sitting there. And I'm like, whoa, what is going on? And it was the daughter, grown woman. I guess she didn't feel like she had to leave for
That's
the show.
so stressful.
Yeah.
It's gotta be
Honestly,
stressful for like as a current renter and former owner. I can't imagine like my landlord selling a house while I'm living there.
this wasn't her landlord. It was her parents. Her parents were in the driveway in their car so that the buyers could have a private showing.
Oh, nice.
But the daughter, who I'm sure was well into her 30s, in the basement, I guess refused to leave during the showing to make it uncomfortable. Maybe she didn't want her parents leaving. Maybe she doesn't want to grow up. I don't know. Maybe there's more deeper issues there.
Stepbrothers.
Stepbrothers. It was the stepbrothers. She was down there watching Cops. She looked a little sweaty.
We listen and we don't judge.
I do.
But that's a good point when it comes to whether or not you should advise your clients to leave for showings. It makes people super
so
uncomfortable.
My clients were like, luckily it was my friend, so she was like, well, that was weird, but
Yeah, as the owner of a home, when you have some skin in the game, it's a little easier to sell the whole like get out, go away for the weekend, we'll take care of this. But as a renter, I feel like that's got to be really stressful to have to leave every time there's a showing, and
Yeah.
you don't even have a vested interest in this home selling.
Right.
well, my brother and sister-in-law, before they purchased a property, they rented, and she had a newborn, and she was breastfeeding, and she was in the thick of it, and she was like, screw that. Like, I'm not cleaning up, and like, I'm just like getting by right now. So
I can't say that
Deal
I would
with
do
it.
anything different.
So I get it.
I had a showing this past weekend, and the sellers were there. And I asked my client, I'm like, if you're not comfortable, like, we can totally reschedule. He's like, it's okay. Well, it turns out the sellers, it was like a medical thing. They couldn't leave. So we ended up, we talked to them, we shook their hands, and they toured us around too. So it was okay.
Sometimes it's
it
positive.
does help, yeah.
But
They were very gracious.
really, yeah. All right. Any more stories?
I feel like I already told the snake story in a previous one, right?
The fake snake.
The fake snakes,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think I told
No
that.
fake snakes. There was a fake spider in a property with me and Shannon, Bobby and Shannon and her son. And we were like, it was huge. And then I realized it was fake. And I was like, I still was a little scared. I was like, it's still creeping me out. Like,
that's something I would do if I was selling my home.
Really?
Definitely, I would prank. I would do some pranks.
do some pranks.
I think I would. But
Yeah. Funny pranks, not scary. Not
I'm
like,
excited
don't buy
to
my
collect
house.
some funny stories in 2025.
Yes.
Got to get out there and start showing more.
Yeah, I have a gross one. It's not, maybe some people might think it's funny, but when I bought my house in Pike Creek, it was, I bought it from a single guy. He was by himself. And after we went to closing, we went there, and there was, in the vanity in the bathroom, there was a drawer full of just clipped toenails.
Oh, no.
It was the worst. Like, I almost threw up when I see. I was like,
A drawer?
a drawer
Like
full of like
He was
just-
deliberately saving them in the drawer?
like, who saves toenail clippings?
I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
My mind is spinning right now about like the thought process that was
Actual freak.
I can only imagine that he was just alone, and maybe that's where he clipped them.
No
and
wonder
just
he's
stored them.
alone. He's clipping his toenails and putting them in a drawer.
I hurried up and vacuumed them out, and it was just, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe someone would do that.
Wow.
It's worse.
Okay, so speaking of gross stuff. Listen, I have had multiple clients tell me after they moved in that the amount of dried up boogies that they have had to clean up off of walls and like the trim has been astronomical. And I'm like, what? And it'll be like months later and they're like, I'm still cleaning up boogies. And these are people that I know, like a friend of the family or like a friend of mine. I don't think random people like, you know, like
I think
would
this
call me-
podcast needs a trigger warning now.
I know.
I've been triggered. Trying to keep it together over here.
And it's like, what is up with that? Like multiple homes?
Yeah.
I've never had anybody tell me that.
Oh, I've had multiple people. It's wild, right?
Yeah, that's
I think it's kids.
Disgusting.
Like
For
there
sure.
were kids that like lived in the house before.
Only kids
She's like,
do that,
I'm
I
still
hope.
scraping the walls.
You say that, Amanda, but
like
you had the
that.
toe clippings.
I did.
Anyway,
So on that note,
yeah,
we're gonna wrap up this gross.
I do want to say that if anyone listening has any topics that they would love to hear us cover, maybe things going on locally or real estate questions, please leave us comments or send us messages. We would love to know what
absolutely.
people are interested in hearing about.
That would be cool.
If there's something cool happening around town and you want to know more about it, we would love to dig into it.
Dig into
Anyway,
Leave it in the comments.
Grow up, Amber.
Thank you guys for listening. That's That Delaware Podcast.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of That Delaware Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at That Delaware Podcast and our team page at Rosario Team _real estate. And of course, if you have any real estate or Delaware questions, feel free to reach out.
That was